of the Honors Engagement Scholarship and planning on doing an HR internship over the summer. So with that, I'll give the floor to Milagros.
Thank you, Megan. Just to confirm, you guys can see my screen, correct?
Looks great.
Awesome. So first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Milagros, and my research is about student-employee job satisfaction in retail and warehouse industries. And first, I would like to provide a brief overview and background about the history of the retail and the warehouse industry. Usually, based on the past, retails and warehouse industries, they stick to maximize their profits by using and seeking for students and their collaboration. And usually the students work simultaneously and they require spatial accommodations, adaptability, and even some energy to become successful personally and professionally. However, the topic of job satisfaction is becoming more prevalent as these students are kind of struggling to have a work-life balance, meaning that they have to find ways to balance the things that they do at work, and they have to kind of balance things that are happening in their current lives. However, what matters is what these individuals are doing to cope with the demands from their jobs and how it is affecting their productivity and well-being and satisfaction. In other words, high satisfaction leads to better productivity and well-being, and low satisfaction leads to poor performance and poor well-being in the warehouse industry. And so for previous research has linked job satisfaction and job productivity to student relationships and work attitudes, but there is a lack of information regarding the specific factors of job satisfaction that improve performance and the well-being of students in these two specific industries. And previous research has shown, based on Arthur Brooks, that his research focuses on happiness and what leads to unhappiness. And so an important fact that he found was that 89% of Americans are happy with the work that they do. And this number is particularly interesting just because most of us would have assumed that the percentage would be smaller, but surprisingly, it is bigger. And consistent with this data or research or this study indicates that students' favorite aspect of their job is forming valuable relationships with people. And he uses a specific formula for happiness, which is the love people, use things, because that is one secret to be more happy at work or more satisfied at work. And furthermore, he also explains that spending time with your boss and being like stuck in traffic are aggravators of unhappiness. There's also research, or there's this saying that says that most people usually quit their bosses and not the organization, but that's another side of research. But contrary to his research, spending time with the boss does not lead to less job satisfaction for this study, but being stuck in traffic is the least favorite aspect of some of the students who participated in the study. And last but not least, Adelina Broadbridge also conducted a study about the students' perception of the retail industry as a career option. And consistent with her research, there is a general stigma about young students holding negative views about the retail industry because of the lower pay and not having enough hours to work, which is also a least favorite aspect of students' satisfaction from UCR. And based on the relevant literature reviewed, my research question is, what factors of job satisfaction affect the well-being of student employees in the retail and warehouse industries? And a hypothesis is whether students are working full-time or part-time, their work schedule is one of the biggest factors that determines their satisfaction at work. And for methods, our participants are current undergraduate students of all majors from UCR. And the sample consists of a small sample of 24 students between the ages of 18 to 22, which is predominantly 83%. We didn't have no one from 23 to 32, and 17% are 33 years and older. Furthermore, we have 67% are female, 28% are male, and 6% prefer not to choose what gender they are. And some demographics include a combination of 44% of Latino, Hispanic, 28% of white and Asian, 6% African American, and 6% Middle Eastern. And the way that we approached this study was by conducting a survey, and the survey was used to understand the favorable aspects of students' job satisfaction in addition to their well-being. And students were assessed during the spring quarter of 2024, so this quarter. And the way that I will explain the results and findings of this study is by breaking down some of the questions that were asked from the survey. So this is the first question that was asked. And as you can see, 53% of students are somewhat satisfied with their wages. And then 41% of those students, they are also somewhat satisfied with their job. So what this means is that these students like the wage that they're getting paid for, but they are also satisfied with the job that they are doing. For part 2 of our results, we have 41% of students somewhat agree with the statement of, I can count on my supervisor for emotional support and work assistance when I need it. Similarly, 41% of students strongly agree with the statement of, I can count on my coworkers for support when I need it. And these two questions are particularly interesting because, as we can see, students who have the support, whether it's from the supervisor, the coworkers, or as much support as they have, they tend to be more motivated. And if they are more motivated, then that means that the work performance is increasing and they are more satisfied with the work that they are doing. For part 3 of our results, 41% of students strongly agree with the work that I do is meaningful to me, but the other question asks that 50% of students sometimes experience fatigue when they are working. And so these two questions are kind of contrary to each other, just because one question is asking like a positive thing, and the other question is viewed as a more of negative. And so what this means is that the people who find the work meaningful, it's meaningful to them maybe because of the people they are surrounded with, but because they are surrounded with those people, maybe the work that they're doing is strenuous activities or repetitive work. And usually, if these people are experiencing fatigue, it's mostly because of the type of work that they do. For example, since the students work for the retail industry and the warehouse industry, then that means that more physical labor is required of them, which means that they have to stand up for long hours, or they have to be lifting heavy things and then walking more. And the last part of the results and findings indicates that 82% of students work in the afternoon shift. And what this says is that most students either have class in the morning or they have class in the evening. And so it opens the flexibility of the students to choose the shift that works best for them. So when they have more flexibility, they are more satisfied with the type of shift that they rather work with. And to conclude, the study does support our hypothesis. Those students who are satisfied with their job, whether working part-time and full-time, prefer the morning and afternoon shift, especially because the work that they do is meaningful to them and they enjoy the relationships that they form at work. And additionally, those students who are not satisfied with their job, whether working part-time and full-time, dislike the evening and the graveyard shift. However, there are some limitations to this study. For example, the sample size is small, which is 24 responses, 24 participants. Therefore, the sample cannot be generalized to the whole population of UCR, especially because there is no statistical test or statistical significance we cannot imply that the results are significant or non-significant. Additionally, the study used a combination of students who work for retail or warehouse industries, which kind of limits the participation of other students to express their concerns and share their experiences from the jobs that they work at. And the significance of this project is not to implement any policies, but it's more of us spreading these results to inspire organizations, specifically those in the retail or in the warehouse, to foster the work environment, especially in the Inland Empire, just because we have so many retail stores here and we have so many warehouses, and we are known as the logistics hub, meaning that the more warehouses and the more retails we have, then it brings more jobs to students. And if these students are applying to this job, it means that the organization or the management, they have to come up with new strategies and new resources to be able to help with the well-being of these students. Additionally, the discovery of this research does influences the field of the industrial psychology, because it will indicate solutions to improve the well-being of them. And then before I conclude this presentation, I do want to share some of the challenges that we encountered. For example, the IRB approval was delayed for a few months, and so we were only able to get those 24 responses. Originally, we were thinking of getting more, but because of a time limit, that's the only amount that we were able to get. As well, these participants did not receive any monetary incentive, so there was no direct benefit to them. It was more of a societal benefit and a reflection of their own experiences at work. And I think not providing an incentive also limited the participation and the sample for this project. But moving forward, incentives should be provided just so that we can get a larger sample of the population. And as well, this study could have been improved by, specifying which retail and which warehouse, excuse me, those students work for, and then by providing a more specific, organized results by analyzing them with statistics and the analysis. And finally, thank you. I would like to thank my mentor for being here. Do you guys have any questions?
Nice work. I'd like to invite everybody